Broadcasting Company Limited or its advertisers.
Hi, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening to the people here in Nevis, those in St. Kitts, those who are listening throughout the Caribbean. Good evening to friends and family in the United States and Canada, those who are in the United Kingdom as well. Good evening to you, wherever you are, and welcome to another edition of On the Mark. I'm your host, Mark Brantley. I am the Premier of Nevis. I am the leader of the Concerned Citizens Movement, and I am your host of this show, On the Mark, which is here on VON Radio live every Wednesday from 8 until 10 p.m. We remain the only show of its kind in the Federation, 2 hours of commercial-free talk radio. And the reason behind that, as I've often said, is to allow you, when you call in, to have ample opportunity to develop your points, develop your arguments, and so that we are not rushed. Of course, some people choose to call in at the very last minute, and then we don't have an opportunity to engage with them. And that's why we urge you, when we open the lines, that you try to get in early, because those who come in early tend to get a bit more time. Having said that, this show has been on the air now for over 2 decades. We're very grateful, and I always say that, how grateful we are to the Von Radio family, particularly to Weber Herbert, who is the manager here for all these years and who has allowed this show to be on air. I would wish you to know that I consider this a privilege. It is not a right. It is a privilege. And that is why when we're here, we ask you, the audience, to cooperate with us to ensure that our standards are maintained. Here at Von Radio, they say that only the best will do. And that is what we achieve, and that is what we aim to achieve on every occasion that we're here. It is to ensure that the level of dialogue, debate, and discussion is such that it brings honor and glory to the name of Nevis, and that people who are listening will say, hey, these are bright people, you know. These are people who know how to debate and to discuss. And that is why I keep insisting that even when we disagree, there is no need for us to be disagreeable. This is Von Radio, the voice of Nevis, the Eastern Caribbean's only powerhouse, as I like to say. And we have been here for over 2 decades with the permission, with the consent of Von Radio. And let me further add that we've been here with the kind financial assistance of the law firm of Daniel Brantley that has paid for this show from its very inception until now. If you want to know about a contribution to freedom of speech in this country, imagine paying for this show every month for the past 20 years. That's the level of commitment, and I want to thank Daniel Brantley for their role in keeping this show on the air. And I'm truly grateful to them because they're prepared to sponsor this show every month, every year. We are able to keep the show on air without having to resort to selling advertisements, and that therefore allows us to be commercial free. Let me start by saying to everyone out there who might be going through some difficulty at this time, who might be bereaved, who may have family members who are in difficulty, who themselves might be in some difficulty, those who are hospitalized, those who are sick, that our prayers go out to you. And equally for those who are graduating, those who are celebrating, those who are getting married, those who are having a birthday or anniversary, we celebrate with you. It is important as a small community that we commiserate and extend sympathy and be there for those who are struggling, and equally that we celebrate the successes of others for those who are celebrating. And so I try to do both when I'm on the air. Oftentimes if I get information in terms of those who may be going through a difficult period or those who might be celebrating, then I tend to say that on air. But tonight I'm giving a generic and general well wishes to those who might be struggling and commendations and congratulations to those who might be celebrating. We are in a small community here in Nevis, and it is our duty to look out for each other. Now, as the government elected to lead, elected to make decisions and to formulate policies for the advancement and development of this island, we have, of course, a large diasporic community. We have people who are living in various areas of the world who are from Nevis. We have, of course, many Nevisians who live on our sister St. Kitts, but farther afield, we have Nevisians living in St. Martin. We have those in the U.S. Virgin Islands and the British Virgin Islands. We have many who live in the United States, particularly in places like New York. And we have quite a large number who live in Canada, in places like Kitchener and elsewhere, and those who live in the United Kingdom. What we seek to do as a government is really to report from time to time to our diasporic communities in terms of where we are and what's happening on the island. I know that a lot of people listen to this show. There are many talk shows on offer, and no doubt people listen to all of the talk shows, as indeed is their desire, as is their choice. But there is such a degree of misinformation that is sometimes out there that we feel as the government that it is our duty to report in person and to be there to answer questions, to hear concerns, and to provide accurate, factual information. That for me is very important. And so, to that end, the CCM-led administration will be holding a series of town hall engagements with our diaspora. The first one will be happening in New York this coming Saturday. This coming Saturday in New York, we're having a diaspora meeting, and that meeting will start at 6 p.m. The location, 1909 Vice Avenue, between Boston Road and Tremont Avenue in the Bronx, zip code 10460. I hope to be there, God willing, with me. I hope to have the Honorable Spencer Brand, our Minister of Works, and with us, Mr. Delvin Clark, who heads our diaspora unit. Now, why that combination of individuals? And as we go to different places, you will have different persons. But why that combination is because, of course, as the Premier, I'd like to say, the buck stops with me, and so I'm there to respond to any and all concerns that may be raised. Minister Brand has been spearheading the revolution that we're seeing in Nevis in terms of our infrastructure, water, roads, and other infrastructural development. And Mr. Clark is leading the office that we've only recently established, which is geared towards encouraging members in the diaspora to do more with us here in Nevis. My motto is that you should come home. I understand that some laugh when I say that, but what I mean by that is, of course, those who can should, but I also mean that those who are able should think about investing here, starting businesses here, and engaging with us in a way that will help us grow and develop Nevis. We have contributed over the years to the development of other countries. We have gone and helped St. Martin, we have gone and helped Tortola, we have gone and helped St. Thomas and St. Croix and St. John. We have helped the great United States. We were part of the Windrush generation to the great United Kingdom. We have helped the great Canada. I am saying that it's time now for us to help Nevis. And we know that we have many, many of our people who are financially, academically, and professionally able to help. We understand that not everybody is in the same position. But as I said, we are aware that we have a large community outside Nevis who are in a position financially, academically, and professionally to help us here at home develop. For far too long, we have tried to do it on our own, meaning that those who are here, the 13,500 or so that call Nevis home, have been the ones to carry the weight and the brunt of our development. Yes, those in the diaspora have contributed, without a doubt. But it is time, in my opinion, that we ask those in the diaspora to do more, to bring their expertise to bear, to bring their financial resources to bear, to bring their professionalism to bear to help us here with ideas, with capital, with investment, with business growth, with development, to help us advance Nevis. After all, Nevis belongs to all of us. And so, in the past, I find that many people, some right here at home, some in the diaspora, they sit back, they complain, they criticize, but they have not been part of the solution. I have said, and I continue to say, that criticism is easy. We all know how to do that. Cussing is easy. We all know how to do that. Solutions now, that's a matter which is entirely different. That's a horse of a different color. And most people, I find, can offer criticism. They do that naturally. They do that easily. They can offer cussing. The opposition here in Nevis has mastered the art of cussing. But at the end of the day, what Nevis needs most is ideas, solutions. Do we have a water problem? Thank God we do not. But if we did, how do we solve that problem? Do we have an electricity problem? Do we have a road network problem? How do we solve the problems? Do we need better health care? Do we need better education? Do we need more housing? Do we need more businesses, more economic expansion? Do we need a diversification of our economy? How do we solve those problems? It is one thing entirely to cuss Mark and cuss the government of the day. But how do we encourage our young people? How do we encourage them to be entrepreneurial? How do we nurture and support what they're doing? How do we build that confidence? How do we say to our people that certain practices and certain attitudes are unhelpful, and that they ought to be encouraged to function in such a way, to live their life in such a way that they can escape the grip of poverty, they can escape any difficult situation in which they find themselves simply by having the right approach to things? How do we teach our people the value of good manners and respect? The value of having the right attitude? The value of engaging with others, not on the basis of vitriol or emotion, but on the basis of intellect? How do we talk about all of these things? And I think those who are in the diaspora are very well positioned to help. Not to come and tell us that, oh, we're stupid, and because you lived overseas, you know better than us. But to come and say, hey, we're all Nevisians. All of us from Brickhill and Butler, from Henley Park and Brownhill, from Cox and Coolhill. We are Nevisians. And as Nevisians, whether we're in the VI, US or British, whether we're in Anguilla or St. Martin, whether we're in Saba or Statia, whether we're right next door 2 miles away in St. Kitts, New York, Canada, Ipswich, Manchester, Birmingham, wherever we are, we must be able to build the necessary bridges and come together to ensure that we are all working to build Nevis. Because at the end of the day, you may well be in America and you have a US passport now, but America is not yours. You may be well be up there and you have a green card, but at any point they could take it away and send you home. Some of you are well up there, but you have neither a green card nor passport, and you are liable anytime ICE could pick you up. Nevis is always yours. And I want our people to think about it that way. Nevis is home. And nobody can take your home from you. And for me, that's an important point that we must emphasize and re-emphasize, that wherever you are, Nevis belongs to you and your children, and so you must step up and say, this is home. And if Nevis is my home, they say home is where the heart is. I'm hopeful that your heart is with your home in Nevis. We're encouraging you to invest and to be a part. Now, some may say I don't have money to invest, and that's okay. Investment could also mean your time, lending your expertise, seeing areas that you can help us with. One person called me and they said they worked at a particular health facility, and the health facility was changing out and throwing away all these wheelchairs and things like that, and the person said that they thought about it and they said, oh, they're sure that Nevis could have benefited from some of those wheelchairs. And that's the truth. Sometimes people are changing out equipment and machinery. They may be moving to more modern equipment. It doesn't mean that the old equipment doesn't work. These are all opportunities where those of you who are in the position can say, let me think of Nevis. Let me see how I can help Nevis. And so, as the Premier of Nevis, I'm coming to New York. I'm coming to New York to extend that hand and to say to our people that here we are creating policies and programs to encourage those in the diaspora to get closer to their home, which is Nevis. Not Long Island, not Brooklyn, not Queens. Nevis is your home. I well remember my father, blessed memory. He lived in America, I believe, for almost 40 years. And he used to always say he's only passing through because Nevis is his home. And I really want our people to think like that. Now, I know not everybody can just get up and leave. I know not everybody is in a position to. Some people, for health and other reasons, are where they are. But I'm saying that just start to think about it. Start to say, how can I invest in Nevis? Instead of buying that second home or third home in America, how can I use that money and buy a home here that I could have in bed and breakfast? I could have rented out. Airbnb, I think that's what they call it. I could do that and still have a base here for myself when I come, for my family, for my friends. Imagine being able to tell my friend at work, hey, if you want to spend a week in Nevis, you can use my home, you can use my villa. Imagine during the height of the season when rooms here are impossible to find, that you can say, hey, I have a place there and I can monetize having a place there. Imagine building some space here for the large numbers of persons who are now coming to Nevis looking for work. My wife is a realtor. One of the things she tells me all the time is that she just cannot keep up. So many people are looking for a place to rent. People are looking for residential accommodation. People want an apartment. They want a home. They want some place to live. And so the issue really is, can we encourage our people to invest, to meet that demand? Most of our people have land. In fact, one of the things that this government has been grappling with is the reality that a lot of land and a lot of homes here have been abandoned. You see them all across the landscape of Nevis rotting away because nothing has been done with them. Many are caught up in family disputes. In some cases, families have passed on and the old properties have just been left there. They litter the landscape of Nevis. Now, could you imagine if those families were to say, hey, let's go back and fix up the old family home. Let's build a few apartments. Let's build a few units for rental on land that the family owns. And let's create some passive income by so doing for our family. You know what kind of revolution we could have here if we collectively decided to be part of the solution rather than constantly sitting back and criticizing? Do we understand that those who are on the field playing the cricket are doing the best that they can? But you who are sitting in the pavilion, who choose not to go on the field, you criticize them all day. You always know what stroke the batsman should have played. You always know what ball the bowler should have bowled. You always know that that was an easy catch that the fielder dropped. But the difference is they're on the field. You are sitting in the pavilion. I want the Nivision people to get on the field. I want the Nivision people to get involved, to be a part of whatever solutions this island needs to move it forward. And I've been very passionate about that. I did an open letter to our diaspora that went far and wide. In fact, I had people in other countries telling me that they'd read that letter. It was widely distributed. I did an article about transforming our brain drain into a brain gain. That too was shared widely across CARICOM. In fact, no less a personality than the Honorable Gaston Brown, the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, referenced me and that article specifically when he said that Antigua and Barbuda will now be moving to encouraging more of their nationals in the diaspora to come home. I have heard the Honorable Prime Minister of Jamaica, Andrew Holness, while he did not reference me, he referenced the same idea of transforming the brain drain into a brain gain. I was in Grenada recently, invited there to give a speech at the inaugural Congress of a new political movement there. And whilst I was there, I was happy to note that Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell in Grenada is proceeding along a similar path. In fact, it was just yesterday that someone sent me a flyer that Grenada is having a homecoming celebration to welcome members of the diaspora back to Grenada. And I smiled because we had a homecoming celebration here in Nevis to coincide with Culturama 50. Here's Grenada doing the same thing. So it's not that these ideas are necessarily novel, but what I am seeing is a certain momentum that is building up across the region. And Nevis has been in the vanguard of promoting that, in saying to our own people, come home. Come home physically if you can. And if you cannot come home physically, come home in terms of your interest, in terms of being able to invest, in terms of being able to help us grow and develop. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be the first to admit that there are some people who say that when they come back, things are difficult for them, they have a hard time adjusting. And I get it. I truly do. I get that you are, when you live in Canada, or you live in the UK or in America, accustomed to certain things. And that sometimes you come back and things aren't quite advanced or as advanced as you're accustomed to. I'm asking for you to be patient with us. And I'm asking for some of you who are quick to condemn Nevis and say, oh, we're backward and you can't get this and you can't get that here, to consider when you yourselves went to Canada and you yourselves went to England and you yourselves went to America. Consider whether or not it also did not require a significant adjustment by you. All of us are aware of the experiences. The cold winters, adjusting to the fact that the heat in whatever apartment you could afford was not quite what it should be. And so you're sleeping in multiple layers of clothing because you're cold. Adjusting to the idea of getting up at 4 and 5 in the morning in the dead of winter to get to work. Adjusting to the idea of snowstorms and being snowed in. And you still can't call in, not like down here when 2 drops of rain fall, people say they're not going to work today. And everybody calling the premier to ask if school closed. No. In America, you have to go to work. And people need to adjust. There are people here in Nevis who will say things like, oh, traveling 15, 20 minutes to get to work, not too far. But they will travel for 2 hours in the United States to get to the job. And they do that every day. So I say that to say that wherever we go, there will be a need to adjust. And for those of you who come back home, you can't come back home expecting that Nevis is like New York City. That Nevis is like Toronto or London. You have to come back home and you have to expect that some things will be different. Some things might be a bit slower, despite our best efforts to improve and to modernize. But you also would realize that some things here are also better. Fresh air in the morning. Right now is mango season. Go in the backyard and you pick 2 mango, you pick 2 jelly. You walk about, you go down to the sea, the fishermen are pulling up, you get some fresh fish. 2 snapper, 2 doctor fish, 2 henchman, maybe a hind. And you go home and you cook some fresh fish water, as we call it. You can't do that. Where you could do that in America? Where? So there are pros and cons. The quality of life here, I think, is simply phenomenal. It's hard to beat. And that is why I say we must always have that scale. We may come back and certain things aren't as modern as we would like. I get that. But there are also things with which we compensate. The quality of life, the pace of life. The fact that here the sense of security is so paramount. There's hardly any crime happening on the island, praise be to God. And so when you look at all those things, it is a balance. But the fundamental thing that should drive you and drive us all is our love for Nevis. Our love for Nevis. Sometimes, the way I hear some people call down Nevis, you would think it's the worst place in the world. And I wonder sometimes which Nevis are they referring to? Because I have been afforded the privilege of traveling hither and yon. And I will tell you, no place nicer than Nevis. No place nicer than Nevis. It is good to see the world, but I always want to come home. Because there's something special about this little island. And that is why I continue to encourage our people not to join in that chorus of negativity that seeks to pull down, seeks to ostracize and criticize, seeks to suggest that Nevis is the worst place in the world, because Nevis is as good as any and better than most. And I say that because it is so. What we've been able to do on this little island with the very limited resources that we have is simply remarkable. Look at our road network. Look at projects like the water taxi facility at Wally, the Mondo track. Look at projects like the Newcastle Police and Fire Station. Look around the island at the water network, the investment in electricity. Look at the MGR Park, the Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park, and the development at Pinnes, our artisan village. Just look around the island. Look at our housing developments, Maddens, Cherry Gardens, Harbour View. Look around this island. See what the island of Nevis has been able to accomplish. And I think you will agree with me that we have a lot that we not only should be proud of, but a lot that we should be speaking about to say how good our island has been and how much better our island is getting every day. That is what I would like to hear. You hear some people talk about Nevis, and some of them because ostensibly they want political power. And sometimes I say, well, if you think Nevis is so bad and so terrible because you want political power, so if you're elected tomorrow, what? By some miracle the island will then become paradise? And you'll now change your tone? So today you're not concerned that when you say how terrible Nevis is that it will turn off tourists and they may not come? You're not concerned about that because you want power. Tomorrow you get into power. What you going to say? Sorry, what I said was not true? Nevis nice? I think there are some things that we should just agree on. That we have an island here that we all should be proud of. And whilst we will disagree from time to time in terms of the direction that we take, we should never lose sight of the fact that Nevis is all that most of us have. I tell people all the time I don't have no passport for anywhere else. This is it for me. If Nevis sinks, I sink with it. If Nevis rises, then I rise with it. But Nevis is where my navel string is buried, and through the grace of God, I hope it's not soon. But this is where I want to be buried. So my navel string is here, and when the time comes for me, I want to be buried here. Nevis is me and I am Nevis, and that's how I want our people to see it. To be proud of Nevis. You see, for a long time in our history, many of us were taught to somehow be, how should I put it, reticent about the fact that we were Nevisian. A lot of people didn't necessarily want to announce the fact that they were from Nevis. Many complained in the old days they went to Sinkits, and Sinkits people called him Nevis Bubu. Nevis Bubu, that means your mumu. And some felt because of all of these things that we were less than. And that is why I keep saying, some do not like me for saying it, but I say it. Not from any sense of being haughty or arrogant. I say it because I'm a proud Nivision. We must be able to stand on every street corner, stand on every pulpit, stand on every forum, and say that we are Nivision, born and proud. That doesn't diminish anybody else, but we will not allow anybody to diminish us. And the thing about it that has always astonished me is that Nivisions have succeeded in every endeavor. We sent a Nivision up to America to help them found their country and their financial system in Alexander Hamilton, the first Secretary of the U.S. Treasury. We had Nivisions who graced the screen. Cicely Tyson comes to mind. We have Nivisions who were eminent jurists like Constance Baker Motley, first black woman, as I understand it, to sit on the Court of Appeals in New York, and a woman who argued cases with the great Thurgood Marshall. We have Nivisions even today, doctors, lawyers, professionals who are living in Canada and America and the UK and doing amazing things. The other day I went on social media because I had lost track of a young man who, when I used to see him, he was 2 or 3 years ahead of me in school. I can't remember how he looked because all I used to remember I see is a bright light. Brilliant, brilliant young man. And I decided, let me go on social media and see if I could find him because it's a long time. Let me go on Google and see if I could find him. And lo and behold, I found him, and he's leading a regional hospital chain in the UK. The man is the man in charge of a regional hospital chain in the UK. We have Nivisions, one of the top neurosurgeons in the Caribbean right now, Dr. Jeffrey Libert, is Nivision from right down their races, as we would say. Sought after in Jamaica, in Cayman, and all around the Caribbean. Nivision. We have Nivisions who are in the U.S. Virgin Islands, the British Virgin Islands, St. Martin, who have done extremely well in business in their professional lives. And that is why I keep saying to our people, we can decide that we're going to sit in the back of the bus and allow people to take liberties with us, or we're going to say no. We are as competent as anybody else. We are as capable and as able as anybody else. And whilst we do not go through life with any chip on our shoulder or with any arrogance, we must go through life standing on our feet and not kneeling on our knees. And so, for me, as the Premier of Nevis, at this point in our history, my role is to encourage our people to be the best that they can be. Will there be politics? Yes. Will there be differences of opinions? Yes. But for God's sake, I keep coming here week after week and say, let us at least preserve the ability to speak to each other without the vitriol, without the enmity, without the sense that some people really want to fight, and if they could do worse to you, they will. Why? I made a comment here the other night that we were doing our walkthroughs, and in one particular community, one woman met us with a barrage of bad word from her house. And I was amused and bemused to see that some in the opposition have taken that clip, because without this show, they don't have any show. So they listen and they cut up and they clip and they tape whatever aspect of it. And thanks be to them, because they help me in preserving the brand that is on the mark. But they cut that little piece where I spoke and lamented that here was a woman who greeted us because she doesn't support us politically with bad word. And the comments amuse me and bemused me, because they say, oh, he knows how to get cussed, yet the right to cuss him. And I say, you see, that is the problem we have. Because you're looking to people to say, let us do what is right. Cussing bad words at anybody who comes to your gate to have a conversation with you is not the way to go. Nobody's taking away your right to support who you want. But you should be able, as a Nivision, as a proud Nivision, to show the level of respect and courtesy to say, thank you for coming, but my mind is made up and I am with whoever I am with. That is just fine. But why the level of disrespect and vitriol? What is the purpose behind that? And at the end of the day, I keep coming back to my question that I ask week after week. What problem does that solve? You think after this woman talk all them bad words to us, you think she still ain't got to pay she Nevlec bill? You think the water bill gonna disappear poof because she cuss us? That will somehow provide health care for her family, schooling for her children. And what I lament at is that you have people who should know better encouraging with that kind of behavior. Cuss them. I'm going to say here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, that the CCM has gone around this island. We've gone to the 5 parishes in the month of June. And we intend, in very short order, to do it all over again. And again. And again. Because we have decided as a party that we are going to go out into the community to speak to our people. I am here every Wednesday whilst I'm on island and able, speaking with you. I am not aware of any other leader in the Caribbean who has done that for 20 years. I have done that for 20 years, and through the grace of God and the strength that God has given me, I am still doing it. Is it tiring? Are there moments that are testy and frustrating? Absolutely. But I am here. And no matter what happened last week, I show up this week again. Why? Because it is important for me, if I truly am a servant of the people of Nevis, to have a conversation with them. And so we have been going out into the community. The reception has overwhelmingly been welcomed, and I want to thank everyone. Those in Craddock Road, those in Harborview, those over there in Cedar View Development there in Maddens, those who are down Zion, and those, of course, in the metropolis of Bath. And we know that we didn't touch every home. That is why I say we are coming back again and again and again. But here's the irony. We go out and we're talking to people. And whilst we're in the process of talking to people, hearing their concerns, hearing their ideas, listening to them, the opposition in Nevis starts to cuss us and say we're begging vote. Said, CCM out there beg people vote. Watch them a beg vote. So yesterday I was quite surprised to see that the NRP now had a whole team out in my beloved constituency of St. John's talking to people. And I said to myself, well, if CCM going out in the community talking to people and NRP cussing us say we looking vote. But when NRP go out talking to people, what NRP looking? Mango? What are they begging? They say we begging vote. So I'm asking, are they begging mangoes? Many mangoes are in season now. But that is the level sometimes that we get to. The level of absurdity. And if I may say so, the level of stupidity. Because how it is you're going to go to people and appeal to people if you're not willing to talk to them? And so we are coming to talk to people. And I'm not going to shy away because some people have this hostility in them. I am coming to every door and every gate. I don't want anybody to say they did not have the opportunity to speak to their government, because once an election is over, the government is our government. It's the government for everybody. And these, for my mind, are basic truths that we should be able to understand and accept. And if we can understand and accept these basic truths, then this island will be much better off. And a lot of the unnecessary vitriol and venom that we get from some people. And I said to somebody the other day, I say, it's not that they vex with me, because I'm going to do them a thing. A lot of them you see who are venomous and vitriolic are really upset with themselves. That man that they see in the mirror, they don't like that man or that woman. Because when they look in the mirror, many of them say, oh my God, I am now 65, 68, moving on to that 70, spoken to in the book of Psalms, and I have nothing to show for my life. I have nothing, I have achieved nothing. I am as I were when I was 15 or 16. And rather than being upset at themselves, which are not prepared to face, they take all that wrath and that venom and they direct it at other people. And I just happen to be the current recipient of that. I can't even say current, because since I entered politics, I have been the recipient. Mark has been the #1 topic for the opposition for the last 20 years. Well, Lord, in a time you all change your song. Change your song. Mark is a very strong biblical name, to be sure. But talk about Jesus. Talk about Moses. Find somebody called Abraham or Isaac or Esau. Talk about somebody else. Because it gets to a point sometimes when I say this level of obsession is insane. And again, it comes from people who are dissatisfied with themselves. When people are going to take every day to talk about me, my wife, my children, what I have, take pictures of my car. I bought a vehicle, and I want to say that I bought a vehicle. Because everything I have, I can account for. So I bought a vehicle. Before I saw the vehicle with my own eyes, the vehicle was already on Facebook. Because somebody went and took a picture of the vehicle to post it on Facebook like they have breaking news. A vehicle. Now, what is a vehicle? You could drive down the road with it and the next minute it's crashed and it's gone. But before I saw it as the owner, it was already on social media. And that is what happens here. You have people who are so obsessed, so insanely desirous of having some moment. It's like people who have nothing going on for themselves whatsoever. No children to engage with, no spouse to engage with, no friends to engage with, no career, no business, no anything. And so they resort to fixating on somebody and cussing the way the person walk, the way they dress, the way they talk, or they drive, where they live, where they eat, cussing. And I suppose that one could forgive that if these were ordinary citizens who just decide, man, I'm going to engage in that behavior. My difficulty is that those engaging in that behavior are people who say they want to lead this island. They want to lead this island. Well, how are you going to lead the island? With cussing? So, when difficulties arise in terms of cost of living, when difficulties arise in terms of pandemics like COVID-19, when we have problems here on the island of Nevis, who are you going to cuss? Because the truth is that what people are interested in are solutions. A man who's struggling to make ends meet isn't interested to know who you like and who you don't like. That man wants a solution. What can you do to expand the economy? Can I get another job perhaps to supplement my income? Can I get a better job? That's what that person is interested in. They don't care who you like and who you don't like. They're not interested that when you look in the mirror you're disappointed with who you see. And that sadly is the problem. Some people genuinely feel the clock is running out and they have nothing to show. And they are hopeful, and mark my words this evening, they are hopeful that the people of Nevis will put them in a position, empower them, so that they then can say, I finally achieved something in my life because I'm now in some position, paid for, courtesy of the taxpayers of Nevis. My final word on the matter is to say to you that when you see people whose only success in life has been failure, leave them where they are. Let me say it again. When you see people whose only success in life has been failure, leave them where they are. Because as one youngster pointed out to me some time ago, you cannot expect that you can manage an island when you can't even manage a passion fruit patch. Can't happen. The complexities of running an island, running a government are such that if you can't keep a couple passion fruit vines alive, how are you going to manage an island? If you have no job yourself and have never created a single job because you have never owned a business, you don't know what it's like to pay social security. You don't know what it's like to pay social services levy. You don't know what it's like to pay rent. You have had no business expenses. Unincorporated business tax, that's alien to you. All your life you would have spent being paid by somebody else. How then can we trust you to grow an economy when you don't know anything about business? You don't know anything about economic growth. You don't know anything about economic performance. All you have lived a life of is asking somebody, beg you, give me a job there. And these are the people who are coming to you and tell you they have the answers for you. Well, I'm a small businessman. I'm trying my best to grow my business. How are you going to help me when you have no idea what it's like to own a business? You have never even owned a frick or stand where a man could tell you he want the red or the pineapple. Not even little ice you could scrape, put in a cup and pour some syrup on it to sell to people. Not even that. But you come and you say you have the answer for the economy. You know how to create jobs, but you don't have a job. I wonder if people recognize that there's some people in the opposition who have not worked in a formal job since NRP lost the election in 2013. Well, they lost it in 2011, but they were finally booted out in 2013. I wonder if some realize that. Some have not held a job since then. But they tell you they have the answers for you. They can provide employment for you. But they can't find a job for themselves. They can't create a job for themselves. And they tell you that they're the brightest people and they have every degree in the world. Every degree. Masters, PhD, bachelor's, associate, every degree you could ask for. They have it. But what is the use of all of that if it cannot be put to use for the benefit of this land that we say we love, this island of Nevis? What is the value of having a PhD, a master's degree, a bachelor's degree, but you don't have the capacity to create something and to demonstrate through leadership that all the years you spent behind the schoolhouse door, you can now apply it into real life? I am saying that our education should equip us to lead. Our education should equip us to be critical thinkers. That when we come out here in the world, we can make a contribution. And if all our education has done for us, some of us, is to allow us to sit down behind a microphone or behind a computer and cuss somebody, then I dare say that education has failed some of us. We can do better. I'm calling upon us to do better. And I've said repeatedly on the show, you know, cussing easy. I born on Henley Park, grew up in Brownhill. Can't come from Henley Park and Brownhill and don't know how to cuss. Cussing is easy. And maybe that's why some default to it, because it's the easiest thing to do. Bad word. Everybody know how to talk bad word. Some choose not to. But everybody know what name bad word. And so when you see people resort to the lowest common denominator, it begs the question whether it is an indication of their lack of capacity. That they do not have the capacity to discuss ideas. They have no answers and no solutions to the issues that impact the country. This very evening I spoke to two young men. And one of the young men said to me something I consider to be quite profound. He said, there's a lot of debate about the proposed Destiny project. The project is going to happen on the south of Nevis where there's currently nothing. Over there, he said, is barren. No roads, no water, no electricity, no form of development in that section of the island. He said, if the Destiny project does not move forward, can any of those opposing it tell you what they will do with the lands in the south coast to bring development and bring advancement and bring greater economic activity to the island of Nevis? What is the plan? Because simply saying you don't like plan A doesn't provide the people of Nevis with an alternative. What happens to those people who have owned land on the south coast and want to sell their land? Why? Because they have medical issues, they are living abroad now, they have no intentions to come back. They have something else they want to invest in with that money. What happens to them? You tell them, project cannot happen. Sorry. And you have some jumping up, say, yes, people must keep their land. Nothing is wrong with that. But who then going to pay the medical bill that this person has? Who's going to send their son to school that they had planned to send? Who's going to invest in their business that they had planned to use those resources? Who's going to support them in their retirement they had planned to use those resources? You see, what I find on this island is that talk is cheap for many. A lot of the people who are lecturing and banging their mouths about the south coast don't own 1 square inch of land over there. In fact, many of them, I'm persuaded, do not even know where the south coast is. And so we get back to the question posed by this youngster this evening. What is the alternative? What do you propose instead? Because it's possible that there are better ideas. Maybe there are better solutions. What are they? And the answer is, when you ask for the solution, crickets, complete silence. Ask them to cuss. Cuss the developers. Cuss the premier. Cuss the premier's family. Cuss the whole government. Cuss, 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 cuss. But at the end of the day, what is your proposal? What is your solution? How do we bring development at scale to Nevis to move us to the next level? Silence. And that is why I'm saying to our people, it is no accident, you know, that the opposition party in Nevis ran an entire election in 2022 without a manifesto. It's no accident that they never published one single idea. They never published one single commitment to the people of Nevis. There's no way that you could go back and say, boy, they said they would have do this, create jobs, they would have solved health care, they would have... No, because they did not even treat the electorate with the level of respect to say to the electorate, these are our ideas. And you know why? Because they had no ideas. They had no ideas. They had no way to move this island forward. And we have had 4 years since 2022, and they still have no ideas. And that is why they resort to the base denominator, cussing. Because as I said, everybody knows how to cuss. Ladies and gentlemen, this is On the Mark. I'm going to open the lines for anybody out there who wants to talk to me. The numbers are 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. As a reminder, the CCM-led Nevis Island Administration will be having a meeting with our diaspora in New York City on Saturday, this Saturday, 13 June at 6 p.m. at 1909 Vice Avenue between Boston Road and Tremont Avenue in the Bronx, New York, 10460. In attendance, we hope to have myself as the Honorable Premier, the Honorable Spencer Brand, our Minister of Works, and Mr. Delvin Clark, who is the head of our diaspora unit. We are coming to speak to you. We want to hear from you, and we are there to answer your questions and certainly to hear your concerns and solutions to issues impacting our beloved home, Nevis. Let's go to the phones and say good evening. You're on the mark.
Good evening, Ms. Sheriff.
Good evening, my dear.
And how are you?
I am doing well, thank you.
Psalm 55, verse 1, 2, and 3. Give ear to my prayer, O Lord, and hide not thyself from my supplication. Attend unto me, and hear me. I mourn in my complaint, but make a noise. Because of the voice of the company, because of the oppression of the wicked, for they cast iniquity upon me, and in wrath they hate me. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much for that. It looks like you really look for that one for us tonight in light of the topic. So I'm grateful to you as always. Thank you, my friend. Good to hear your voice. We're taking your calls, ladies and gentlemen, at 869-469-1616 and 1700. Those are the numbers to call to be a part of the show. I have done my soliloquy. I was talking for about 50 minutes or so, and I now invite you to call in and share your views and opinions. I should report that we had the Taiwanese mission that were here. These are Taiwanese medical practitioners living in the United States, and they would have had clinics, the Charlestown Health Clinic and the Brownhill Health Clinic, also at the hospital. And I was quite impressed today to get the report at Cabinet from the Honorable Janelle Nisbet, our Minister of Health, that they would have seen almost 300 persons. I think that was quite impressive that they saw. They also did dentistry, forgive me. But they would have seen 290 some odd people, I'm told, and I think that that is simply fantastic. So I want to thank them. I continue to thank Taiwan for assisting the development of St. Kitts and Nevis. They have not just been our friend, they've been our best friend. And I'm grateful to them because they've been a genuine partner in terms of our development of this country. And so that medical mission was very useful. I think a lot of people were able to benefit from it. And I am truly, truly grateful to see that that kind of mission can occur here and be of benefit to the people of Nevis. Again, the numbers to call are 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. While I'm on that, I want to extend public commendations to the Honorable Troy Liebert, our Minister of Education. Minister Liebert would have journeyed to Jamaica last week, and whilst in Jamaica, he would have signed a memorandum of understanding with G.C. Foster College, which we know is a premier institution in Jamaica for sports. And many may not remember, but at one point this CCM-led government sent 4 youngsters to GC Foster on full scholarships to study. All 4 youngsters are now back in Nevis and making their contribution. And by coincidence, 2 of those youngsters hail from Bath and 2 hail from Brownhill. They're all back making their contribution. We're very proud of them. And so we're trying now to rekindle that relationship with GC Foster, and where they can offer courses to us, where our students can go there, but also based on what Minister Liebert has indicated, that they can also send technical staff here to help our coaches and help us in terms of our thrust in sport and youth development. Let's go back to the phones and take some more calls. Caller, please call back in. The numbers are 869-469-1616 and 1700. It is now 9 p.m. and we're taking as many calls as we can for the next hour or so that we're here. And so if you're out there and you want to be a part of the show, we urge you to call now. Do not leave it until the end of the show and then people get upset. They don't have time to develop their arguments. Call as early as you can. Let's go to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark. Hello? Caller, we've lost you. Not sure why, but if you can try again, we'll be delighted to speak to you and to hear what you have to say. And so we urge you to call in as you get that opportunity. But I want to again commend the Honorable Troy Liebert and his entire team. I know he was accompanied by Alger Newton from the metropolis of Bath. Alger is one of those youngsters who graduated from GC Foster, and so we're very proud of him and his cohort, his colleagues who would have graduated with him. And I really want to see that relationship with GC Foster blossom, and that we can get more of our youngsters certified in sport. Let's go back to the phones then. Good evening, you're on the mark. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on, caller. I'm not sure why it is. Somebody's hanging up. It's not on our end. We're trying to take the calls as they come in, but we will continue to try. Again, for those out there who are interested, let's try again. Good evening, you are on the mark.
Mark, good evening.
Good evening to you.
Mark, you know what?
Can you move away from your radio or your computer? We're getting a feedback.
Yeah, man. Mark, I'm telling you about these animals. And nobody sees to examine them all out. But nothing I know, Mark, is set to put on a donkey race out there, because animals, the sheep, them not keep them out. That's we bring in the donkey and put on a donkey race.
Put on, you tell you want a donkey race?
Mark, I would go look at it, because they not keep the sheep out from the track.
Mm-hmm.
They not keep away them animals from out there. So they got the sheep. Then we try to get some donkey now in there, and we get donkey.
So you're talking about the Mondo track?
The Mondo track.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's full of animals. The only animal now in there donkey. So bet we get some donkey in there, so we could get donkey and sheep race.
Why, caller, let me tell you, it breaks my heart to hear this, because I keep lamenting about our people being responsible. And I don't know quite how else to put it, because you spend millions of dollars to do a facility that is to benefit everybody. And you just have people, sheep and goat, on the facility like they run in Olympics.
That's
right? And right, you talk about it, I talk about it. You say to the farmers, you have to be more responsible with your animals, right? You say to those using the facility, close the gates after you go in. And it's just like we're talking in the wind. I just do not understand sometimes why our people behave the way they do. Right? Then now if the government were to get now and start to go and tell the police, shoot the animals, them big outbursts and outcry in Nevis. But you talk and talk and talk. You say to people, control your animals. You say to people, if you're going to use a facility, listen, in some countries these facilities are locked, Padlock is on the gate.
Exactly.
We do not do that because we want the facility to be available to the community. Well, how difficult is it if you're going to use the facility to close the gate?
Back here, it's there for the animals, the sheep and the goats. No, I never see a donkey in there. So it's better to get donkey and sheep race now.
All right. Well, we don't want any donkey race in there. We could have a donkey race elsewhere, but not in the Mondo truck.
But Mark, how the goats and the sheep in there?
Well, anyway, I thank you for drawing that yet again to our attention. And the farmers around there, they know who they are. I'm asking them, please control your animals. Control your animals. You cannot have your animals continually invading this facility, going all on the track. When they mess on the track, when they do all that, please control your animals. And for those who are using the facility in the afternoons, in the evenings, close the gate. What could be so difficult about asking you to close the gate? We just spent money out there to fix the fence and all of that. Work with us. We're trying to work with you, but work with us. This is our Nevis. Let's protect what we have. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, caller. You're on the mark. Hello?
Honorable Brantley.
Yes, you're on the mark. Go ahead.
Okay, good night.
We're not hearing you clearly. Can you speak into the phone?
Yeah, good night.
Yes, now we got you.
Yeah. Before I go into my scripture, I would like to send out condolences to the family of Yvette Powell Glasgow of Church Ground from Mel Chapman and family. May her soul rest in eternal peace. You know her?
I'm not sure.
Oh, she's Clarence's sister.
Uh-huh.
And Cutie, well, you might not know Cutie. Cutie used to run bus here in Nevis before he migrated. Yeah.
Well, I certainly join you in extending condolences to the family.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, it's very sad, but that's life. God is our refuge and strength. I'm reading from Psalm 46, and I'm reading 2 verses. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore will not we fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea. Here ended the reading of the scripture. May the Lord add his richest blessing unto it.
Thank you very much for the scripture, as always.
Yes, God bless you, and safe flight to and from, okay?
Thank you very much, my dear.
Blessing.
I certainly appreciate you, and I appreciate your blessings, and I certainly appreciate your scripture that you choose for us each week. Thank you.
Okay, love always.
All right. Love to you, too. We're taking your calls, ladies and gentlemen. 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. As I move on to tell the people of Nevis what's happening, I should also commend the Honorable Spencer Brand, our Minister with responsibility for water and for infrastructure, because he has advised the Cabinet today that the $500,000 storage tank at Stony Hill, I think it is, that tank is almost complete in terms of its installation. I think there's some minor works to be done, and that tank will be ready. And so I want to commend him and his team, because they have really been thinking and executing. And I always use water as an example of how Nevis and the government in Nevis has functioned effectively. The reason I say that, ladies and gentlemen, is because we had phases to that development of water in Nevis. We first tackled distribution. We dug up half of Nevis. We put in brand new polyurethane pipes. We removed the old cast iron pipes. We bought the butt fusion machine and the necessary equipment for our workers. We had them trained. We put in larger pipes so that issues of low pressure could be eliminated across the island. And we invested significantly in that. That was phase 1. We then moved to phase 2. And phase 2 was to get more storage capacity. A lot of the tanks that we had were leaking. They were old tanks. And again, we invested significantly. The minister shared with me today that one of those tanks is almost $500,000. And we now have capacity in Nevis to store every day somewhere in the region of 4 million gallons of water. The third phase was to get more water. There was a high producing well at Hamilton. That well, if I recall correctly, had been dug during the previous NRP administration. But the water had a lot of manganese in it, and so that well was left there. We invested in a filtration system to make that water potable. Let's take this call and then I come back. Good evening, caller. You're on the mark.
Good evening to you, Mr. Premier.
Good evening to you.
It's always a pleasure.
Caller, we're not hearing you properly. Could you speak a little louder, your mouth a little closer to the phone?
Yes, it's always a pleasure.
Hello?
Good night. You hear me?
Caller, we're not hearing you at all. You got even fainter. Hello?
Hello?
Caller, you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I can hear you a bit now.
Okay, good night. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Well, yeah, you seem so. I want to thank you. Much appreciation to you as always being a servant of the people. Until I get something or what I must say, to teach me or show me different that you're a different person, I'm not going to change it. And I was over in Nevis recently where we met, and I'm seeing development. I actually took my family over there. We took a drive around, and it's a Nevis. It's a nice Nevis. And one of my favorite places I stopped by the bakery there in Gingerland, which is one of my favorite bakeries over there. And then sometime when I look at some posts that you do, you intrigue me. You make me want to go to other places to try their food. So eventually I'll get around. So I want to thank you for the development and keep on pushing. I know you're back bad. They're going to be after you. I want to tell you, keep on doing what you're doing. Can't keep a good man down.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this call, because calls like this really, the support, it helps me. It is a difficult task because sometimes even when you've done your best, people are quick to criticize. But I'm happy that you came over and that you enjoyed Nevis. I always encourage our brothers and sisters from St. Kitts to come enjoy this part of their country, because I can assure you when I go to St. Kitts, I enjoy my time over there. I end up in places like Keon and St. Paul's. I go all over St. Kitts, and I like to interact with people. So I'm really, really happy you came to Nevis and you were able to enjoy what we're doing in Nevis. So thank you very much.
Much appreciated, man.
Okay, God bless. All right. So kudos to that call and thanks to him. I, of course, continue to encourage our Kittitian brothers and sisters to come over and see what we're doing. But I was talking, ladies and gentlemen, about water and the evolution that we've had here in terms of water. And as I said, we started out with the distribution network. We then went to storage. And then we decided, no, it was time for more water. Why? Because it didn't make sense for us to have more water and not have storage. It didn't make sense to have more water but no distribution. So we then went to more water. We used that high producing well in Hamilton, treated the water, put it in the system. We put a desalination plant in the system. And now we're drilling more wells for more water. We already have wells in Maddens, high producing wells. One up there, I'm told, in Braziers, and one now down in Decents. And the capacity that we're hoping is to add another 2 million gallons. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, caller. You're on the mark. We missed that caller. Caller, please call back in. 869-469-1616 or 1700. So, it was a plan, coordinated, strategic, and we understood it couldn't be done immediately. And so this is a plan that we've been executing now for probably the past decade. But every year, we're investing more and more. You hear what I started out by saying? We are now completing the installation of another $500,000 tank up in Stony Hill. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Boo.
Hello? Hello?
Boo.
Call up. This is primetime radio. So please, when you call in, if you can use the opportunity to express yourself, state your views and opinions, and let us engage with each other as we are expected to, of a people who have a nearly 100% literacy rate. That's the island of Nevis. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, caller. You're on the mark.
Hi, good evening, Mr. Brantley. How are you doing?
I'm not doing too badly at all. Tonight, for some reason, I'm having difficulty hearing my callers.
Okay, but you're hearing me good?
I'm hearing you now. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, nice. No, I heard you speak about this water storage issue.
Yes.
And it has to cost Nevis a couple millions of dollars to get that done. And after you have done all this, they say water cheap in St. Kitts and Nevis, and yet still, you cannot get the people of St. Kitts and Nevis to pay the bill. And as soon as you cut off the water, the opposition always, or political parties or whatever, oh, Mark Brantley cut off people water. But what happened? The same people them who saying Mark Brantley cut off people water. Mark Brantley is not a madman, because they self paying the bills. Mark Brantley cannot cut off the water as long as they're paying the bill. So when you hear them say, oh, Mark Brantley, them a cut off water and this and that, all because the people are not paying the bill. Now you see them kind of politicians, I cannot listen to them. I will never vote in them kind. You know why? You have to make people be responsible. Until we don't do that, politics is politics. People will always chat all time. But when it comes to water, electricity, encourage people to pay their bills. Otherwise, handout going pass from handout, because that is what they're looking for from politicians. Handout. I could tell myself, Mr. Mark Brantley, you ever sit down with any one of your supporters or outside of your supporters to watch TV? The cable cut, they want Mark help them. This kind of nonsense that we need to done away with these things. Because you hear what you just said, you see the amount of money you have to invest for storage, for this, for that. Plus, additional thing has to go to it. And guess what? We people still looking for it to be free. We don't want to pay the bill. You heard, I just listened to you a while ago. Touch on the track issue where animal go in there, this, that happen. And guess what? If you leave it there like that, everybody gonna say, lad, nothing dirty like up there. Come on, people, we need to be more serious in this little island of ours between St. Kitts and Nevis. We have to be more serious. We want good things. Take care of it. I thank you. Good night.
Caller, I hope that can be played, that little clip there, over and over, because you have said it far better than I possibly could. And it really comes back to the message of our people being responsible. You know, everybody in the country wants better roads, but they don't want to pay any road tax. They want water, but they don't want to pay for the water. They want electricity, but they shouldn't pay Skellig or Nevlik. Everybody wants health care, but they don't think they should pay the hospital. And so it begs the question, if our people are not going to be responsible, how are these various services going to be provided? It's an important discussion. Let's get back to it after this call. Okay, we missed that call. Caller, please call back in. But, caller, you raised something which is really fundamental, because I see it and I hear it all the time. I see some people, water in St. Kitts and Nevis is very, very cheap. And sometimes when people come and say they have a bill of $3,000 for water, I say, how you manage to get a bill of $3,000 for water? Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Good evening.
Good evening to you.
Mr. Brantley, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
I have a problem over here in Brooklyn.
Yes.
Down in the pan, you have a donkey stick and die down there. For days now, I call the health people, them, they say they get into it. And I pass it again today, nobody gets to it, and it don't start to burst.
So you called who you call?
I call the health people.
Health
and the
people?
Health department. Yeah.
Okay, you said by the pond on Budging Range?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. Let me try and make a call when I'm done here, okay?
I call them, they say the people don't call them, they're going to get around to it yesterday and it's still there today.
Okay. Alright. Thank you very much. Okay. 20 minutes past the hour of 9 o'clock, we're taking your calls. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, caller. You're on the mark.
Good evening to the Honorable Premier Mark.
Good evening, my brother. Thanks for calling.
Yes, Mark. Unless we ain't done with this tribal party politics, all these things will never stop. I listened to my good friend just now, Lucy, talking about people, opposition criticizing because the government cut down water, people water bill and the light bill because they don't pay it. Mark, it happened all the way around with different party in government. I remember under Dr. Simmons, the same thing happened. When they cut off people water bill, people don't pay the water bill, they cut them off the phone bill. I mean, the light bill. They abuse the government. And I believe that people supposed to pay the bill. Most of these people who don't want to pay the bill is people who close the government. And they tell themselves they support the government, meaning they ain't got to pay the bill. And when some of the politicians them campaign, go on the thumb, they give them the impression like they're supposed to pay bill, where they get free and all these things. They give them a marriage. You understand? And this the things we got to face. It happened both ways. I remember when the Port Dante was building, they criticized Port Dante. And Port Dante is the breadwinner to the Federation now. They criticize the Southeast Peninsula. Southeast Peninsula is a breadwinner to the Federation now. So you see, he goes around. So he can't come out and blame, he go blame all the politicians, them, all the administration, them when they get in, when they're in a position, they criticize whatever. And that's the name of the game of the politics it look like.
Yeah, but caller, while I hear you, and
yes,
we could always look back and see that this was done or that was done. But there's also a need for us to look forward and to say, can we be better? And that's something, because any government that goes in, any government,
yes,
will have to confront the reality that they have to pay for the water infrastructure, they have to pay for the electricity infrastructure.
I agree with that.
So,
I agree with that. 100%.
So the point then is this: if you're in opposition and you're cussing the government because the government is forced to disconnect, because no government is disconnecting anybody out of spite. I will tell you, for example, in the island of Nevis, that at Nevlec, the system, I'm told, at Nevlec only puts your name on a disconnection list after 62 days of non-payment. That means you've been owing for over 2 months.
But Mark, what I'm trying to say, right? What I'm trying to say, right? If a PAM government was in, unity government was in presently, you will not hear that talk coming from my good friend Lucy.
Well, I don't know who the caller.
And this thing happening.
So I don't know who the caller was, but the point I'm trying to make is whether you have heard that talk or not. Let's move beyond the talk, and let's now talk to people in an effort to make our community better. And people must understand that these resources have to be paid for. That's all I'm saying. You cannot expect some people I'm told are using resources, water and things sometimes for 4, 5, 6 months and don't pay nothing.
And don't pay.
Well, let me speak proper English. Don't pay anything. That cannot be correct. And rather than I think anybody telling them you're right and the government wrong to cut you off, we should instead be having a conversation where we encourage our people to be responsible. All sides should be having that conversation.
Mark, up to the panel talk show, right? I call in and I tell the guy who was hosting the show, any government who gets in office and they cut off people for electricity and water, I believe that is something good, because it encourage you to make you pay your water bill and your light bill. I paying, Tom paying, Dick paying, Why you shouldn't pay your water bill and your light bill? And water bill cheap.
How much on average water bill in St. Kitts is? Tell me.
It's I pay $20 a month.
$20 a month. Okay.
Yes. But you never got bigger, like using washing machine and all those things. Washing machine and you wash your car, you do this and do that, and you cook a lot of plenty food and so like a restaurant or different people who look vendors who cook, they'll pay a higher bill than me. You understand?
But you think a normal bill will be $20? You think?
A normal bill will be $20.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you get a bill of $20 a month, caller, and your bill went up to all $1,000 and $1,500 and $2,000, you're willful.
The willful bit, Mark. I was saying and all that. Mark, let me tell you something, right? Some of these people, right? They just get a project house from the government and different government too. Mark, you know the people though? Because they see the friend got an expensive window, got an expensive door. They take out the window them up and buy window $2,000, $3,000. And then when you know they're getting problems, some of them children don't even support them. Some of them children don't help them. And that's the reason why some of them can't pay the water bill or the light bill. Because they watch what other people got. You understand?
I'm listening to you.
And this is thing nobody supposed to play politics with, whether you're PAM in, Labour in, PLP in, CCM in, or whatsoever. This is thing that we shouldn't play politics with. But it happened down here in Strinket when one party in government and the government do something that we're supposed to do to bring back revenue to the government that you're paying your bill. People cost out the government. Just look at what we call the Lucy calling and said, no. You understand? But it happened all the way around. You just look at disease we have politically. Okay then, Mark.
Thank you very much. Rather interesting. It's a disease. The question is, what is the solution to that disease? And my view is that on some of these matters, all the politicians should be asking our people to be responsible. Don't get me wrong. There are people in the community who are struggling and are having a genuine difficulty. But I always say that at Nevlec in Nevis at the Water Department, we do not disconnect people unless there is no alternative. Disconnection for us is a last resort. What we try to do is to get people to even come in and say, well, all right, if you owe $200, can you pay $20? Have a plan. But when I see people with bills that are $2,000 and $3,000 for water, it means that they really have not been paying their bill for a very long time. This caller just called in and said an average bill for him in St. Kitts is $20 a month. $20 a month, $20 a month. A month that is 30 days. You realize that that is less than $1 a day. Less than $1 a day. You know, when you think about it. And so imagine you're paying less than $1 per day for water to allow you to shower and to cook and to clean and to do all the things you need to do. Use your toilet. Less than $20 a month. Less than $1 a day. $20 a month, sorry, less than $1 a day. And people refuse to pay that. Now, let me ask you, what else can you get in the country for less than $1 a day? I'm curious. I mean, other than the air we breathe outside, truly, what can you get? I remember when we had a debate about water in Nevis, because we carried up the rates for water, and there was the usual noise being made. But I said that we go out in Nevis and we buy a bottle of water, small bottle, individual bottle, for $5. $5 for that small bottle of water. In Nevis, you pay $13 for 1,000 gallons of water. Let me say that again. In Nevis, you pay $13 EC for 1,000 gallons of water. But the people who refuse to pay that will go and buy one small bottle for $5. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, caller. You're on the mark.
Good evening again, Mark.
Good evening, brother.
Yeah, good evening. You see, sometimes some of us get caught up with this politics thing so bad that my dear friend Mr. Politics not even taking the yet time out to understand what you're saying to him. Because what you're trying to say to him, whether PAM, labor, government, whoever it is, encourage people to pay their bills. And that is the point I wanted to make. That is the point I was drawing all the time. Whether PAM, labor, whoever it is, CCM, NRP, encourage your people or the people of the Federation to pay their bills. That's all I'm saying, you know. Now, even when you look at the Destiny Project thing that everybody making noise about in Nevis, tomorrow, that Destiny Project come off and people making money. You can't believe it's same people them who were making noise yesterday enjoying it today. Sometimes I have sat down already and think about it, Mark. No good project that ever passed through the Federation get a good send-off. Somebody got to say something negative about it. And tomorrow, they sit down and enjoy it. I will say this, if the Destiny Project come off, I may live to see it, whereas I may not live to see it. But some of them will hold you and take you to the bar, buy you a drink, and tell you, Mark, thank you very much. Mark my word on that. Good night, Mark.
Wow. Well, you really, really have said it all, because I think you're right. I honestly think you're right. The people out there who for the politics will say what they want. And I will tell you, caller, I don't have to look for Destiny, because we built a water taxi pier over there. And the NRP had the most to say. The most things to say. Oh, we're destroying the beach and one of the better beaches in Nevis and blah, 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 and da, 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 da. And I have lived long enough to see them use that facility more than me. They're down there regularly using that facility to go about their business. Now, would any of them ever call in and say, guys, we think it was a good idea and we're happy that the facility was built? No. But just using that example gives me the opportunity to say that you're right about Destiny. And I'll go further and tell you, some of them who are out there supporting the opposition against Destiny already privately lining up their own business to benefit. And I'm saying that because I know it to be true. Lining up their business to benefit. But are prepared to go out and tell people it's a bad idea, but they're waiting in line. So, caller, you're 100% correct on that. And I'm hopeful that both of us live long enough to see it, because I'm confident that the project will be given an opportunity to move forward, as I'm confident that other projects in Nevis will be given an opportunity to move forward. I am here to build. That is my role. I am here to leave Nevis better off than I met it. And so we are working in that regard. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, caller. You're on the mark.
Good evening, Premier.
Good evening.
I am calling because I believe the government is extremely gracious in allowing the consumer to not pay their bills for 62 days. I think 30 days is sufficient. We need to be responsible for our expenditure. Additionally, I was pleasantly surprised today. A friend of mine was taking me around in Cox and Saddle Hill and Beach Road, and I was amazed of the condition of the street. I am extremely proud to be a Nevisian, and I'm extremely proud to see the development with the road infrastructure and all the developments that are happening. And I just want to congratulate you, the government, the people of Nevis, to continue to do the good work that they're doing.
Caller, thank you very, very much. Do you live on the island or you're just visiting?
I have been abroad for over 46 years, and I'm in the process of returning.
Oh wow, I'm loving to hear that. Yes.
Yeah. So I just want to call in and just express how profoundly grateful I am to see the developments that are going on.
Thank you very much, caller. I truly appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
And welcome home.
Thank you so much.
All right, you're most welcome. I'm very grateful for that caller because I think that we can only agree. And that is why sometimes when I hear the negativity and I hear people who are trying to suggest that things are so horrible on this island, I wonder, which island are you living on? No place in the world is perfect. We understand that. But for those who know Nevis, know where we've been, know where we now are, how could you drive on Hanley's Road? How could you drive on Brown Hill Road, Braziers? You drive into Bath Village. I spoke to a lady who's from Bath. She was living in the UK. And she said she was ashamed to tell me that when she came home, she got lost in Bath Village because she couldn't recognize Bath. That's how transformational the roadworks in Bath Village were. Shaw's Road, the Island Main Road, part of the main road in Rollins. All of these were projects, major projects undertaken, and yet you hear people lamenting and say, nothing go on, nothing happen, the place dead. And you know, the interesting thing, caller, the majority of those roads were built by our Public Works Department. I'm going to come back to that. Let me go to the phones. Good evening, caller, you're on the mark.
Yeah, good night again, Mark.
Yes, good evening.
Yeah, Mark, when a party in opposition, right, they oppose and they say wrong things, they say right things, they tell lies, they do all kind of different things because they want to get into government. And that is something I don't like. You understand? Because when they get into government and they can't deliver what they say they're going to do to the people, it really hurt me and hurt many people. Now, look at the water situation right now in Sinkit right now. The minister come and said that water 24/7 after 15 years, water 24/7 in Bath here. Getting water 24/7. Because the desalination plant almost was up and running, he said that. And it was far from the truth, because when he come on and says that people call me from Bath, they tell me that water gone, water lock off. And Mark, it's right to tell people the truth. Because when you tell it, when you go out and you say things, just to want the government to look good, or your party to look good, they come back for upon the country, come back for upon the people. Remember, God is listening, God is looking over us. You understand? And a lot of things were said, going to happen. Look at the school, look at the hospital, all these things. This don't happen and that don't clean up and nothing like that goes up. So it just backfiring on the people of the country. They take the fallen people. And the father just said, man, let it talk, let it do what it feel like. I in control, I know that this thing can happen, and whatsoever. You know, but some also political, ignorant and blind to party. We don't take time to listen out. Some of these ministers are these politicians with what they say, and when these things happen, we go and we counteract them and say, look what this going to do, and look what that going to do, and nothing like that happen. This is the thing that we're supposed to get educated, and as long as we run with this party politics thing, we will never get nowhere, especially in Sinkit, in down here in Sinkit.
So what do you suggest, Mr. Politics, is the solution? Tell me.
The solution?
Mm-hmm.
The solution is that when you're out there campaigning and you deliver to the people, say you're going to do this and you're going to do that, do it. Do it. Because it happened under the Unity Administration. When the Unity Administration was campaigning, you was part of Mark Brantley. They said they're going to do this, they're going to fix the element mirror, they're going to build it here, they're going to do many things, they're going to go back sugar workers' money. And it happened. Not a lie, not a thing They come tell the people they're nothing different. We had a Unity create a $500 program with the who was working on the $3,000 a month program. He was working, he was helping people pay the bill. And they go in there and they said they're going to renew it. And you know what they do? They make people go sign up again, sign over again. Because they want to know who is who. They want to know who is who. People sign over and they take, who don't know, maybe Unity, PLP, PAMA, wherever they put the name off of the program. And that is what the situation like right now. A lot of people get victimized, get pushed aside. Some people get laid off when they reach 62 years. Some of them just reach 62 years and they get laid off because what? Sometimes they work on the estate and the pension small, the social security small. Some of them can't make ends meet. They got children to support. You understand? And this is the thing that this Labour administration, how talk about they love people. They love nobody, they about themselves. I say so, me background, me could face any one of them, Mark. Me background. They ain't for nobody, they just for themselves. You and the people of Nevis, you all fight, you all battle up there. But I gonna fight my battle down here with this evil Labour administration we got here right now in this country. You have a wonderful night. God bless.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much. You're really firing on all cylinders tonight. Let's stick with the phones. Good evening, caller. You're on the mark.
My final call for the night, man.
Yes.
Here it is. If tomorrow you have to say, you hang up your boot and say you're done with politics, who Nevis really belongs to? Mr. Mark Brantley or everybody on the island of Nevis?
Well, Nevis belongs to everybody on the island. Leaders, as you know, politicians, as you know, are just on the stage for whatever time God and the people allow them. So we've had premiers before. We had Sir Simeon Daniel, we had Joseph Parry, we had Van Zamri, and now you have me. And of course, I will have to leave the stage, and somebody else will be on the stage. That is the nature of life.
True. Now, I said this to say that. Too many times, opposition, those who may not like you, say all negative about the beautiful island of Nevis. But you know what I'm glad for? While they criticize Nevis, people comes in and see the beauty and what is going on in Nevis. Just recently, my wife and a couple other friends went to Nevis. And I have never been to Gishard Park or something like that.
Yeah, Malcolm Gishard Park, yeah.
Right. She said, Nevis clean. They kept whoever doing the job in there. They said the person doing a very good job to make sure inside they kept clean. They said when you go certain areas in Nevis, it's well kept. But sometimes when you listen to opposition and name it, it's as if Nevis is like a hard pen. I remember some time ago I was listening to your show, and I heard you mentioning certain things that you get done in Nevis while you were with Team Unity, let me put it this way.
Yes.
And the money that was given was little, so to speak, but so much you get done. And when I heard about $42 billion passed through the hands of politicians for the country, and we have problem with hospital and all kind of problem we have here in St. Kitts, I said to myself, come to the old people is not how much you work for, it's how much you save or how much you make use of what you have.
Mm-hmm.
And Mark, I'm telling you, I'm not a big fan of you. But for the little that you receive, you have done well for the people of Nevis. I am saying there are those who will criticize you. And if they had a little bit of money that you had, Nevis would have still be scrabbling. I am saying to you, Mark, as I said to you, I may not be a great fan of yours, but I'm telling you, as a leader, people will always talk. You got to set out yourself for that. People will always talk. But you have to remember one thing. You are not only doing a job for CCM supporter. You're doing a job for the people of Nevis. Some will not like it, and some will love it. Keep your head high. Every night, every day, you go to bed. Thank the Most High God for giving you the strength to make whether right decision or not. It may not be something sometimes that may not please you, but say, Lord, give you the strength, give you the wisdom to make it even better another day. Because, Mark, you got to understand, it's people you're dealing with, not even, and in closing, and I will say this one, not even the great God of the universe could please us. So that is enough. Just imagine Jesus Christ come to save humanity, and man still turn around and say, kill him. So who is Mark?
Mm-hmm.
All what I'm saying, stay focused on what the people put you there to do, and allow God to be your guide. I thank you. Good night.
Thank you very much, caller. And I'm sorry to hear you're not a fan of mine. I got to work on that. But you have given me excellent advice tonight, and for that I'm truly, truly grateful. And you're absolutely correct. And I've made the analogy time and time again, because Jesus was perfect. He was sent by God to save us. And when the mob was given the opportunity whether to save Jesus or the old criminal Barabbas, they said, give us Barabbas and crucify Jesus. And that is always what I use to say, if people could do that to a perfect man who was without sin, then like you say, who's Mark? So I don't worry about the attacks, although I keep saying that we could do better. Let's go back to the phones. We have 10 minutes left. Good evening, you're on the mark. Hello? Hello? Okay, that caller isn't talking to us. Caller, can you try to come back in? We can't hear you. The numbers again are 869-469-1616 and 1700. I'm very grateful for the callers tonight, and I'm urging anybody out there who has something to add to the debate and the discussion that is happening this evening, please to do so. I think we are having a very good discussion this evening. We are talking about various issues, but we are talking about it in a manner that is respectful, and that is a standard I think that we've always aspired to here on VON Radio, where only the best will do. And so, again, if you're out there and you have something on your mind you want to share, you're free to call in at 869-469-1616 and 1700. Ladies and gentlemen, for those who may have tuned in late, my name is Mark Brantley, and this is On the Mark, straight talk across the Narrows. We have been doing this for over 2 decades. We're still doing it, thanks to the grace of God and the generosity of the law firm of Daniel Brantley. We're very, very grateful to them. And we're grateful, of course, to you, our listeners. I wonder if I can use the word fans, but certainly people who are out there who tune in religiously to this show. I met a young man the other day. He was probably in his mid-20s, maybe late 20s. And he said to me, I've never met you, but I know your voice so well. And I said, how good is you to know my voice? And he said, because his grandmother, every Wednesday, had to listen to On the Mark. So he grew up listening to my voice, even though he had not met me. And I just want to thank people out there who see this as a forum that brings some value to them. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, caller. You're on the air.
Good night, Matt.
Good evening to you.
How the Destiny project is going?
We haven't had any updates on the project as of the last time that I was here. I can tell you that I met with the Honorable Prime Minister. That was one of the matters that we discussed. We had a meeting last week, Tuesday, and there are some matters on which the Honorable Attorney General needs to give his view. But the Prime Minister did indicate that he was committed to this project and wanted to see this project happen once, of course, he was certain that the project was not violative of any thing in the country in terms of any of our laws or anything of that nature. Of course, we have said time and time again that the Destiny project will be fully subject to the Constitution of St. Kitts and Nevis. And so the PM is dotting his I's and crossing his T's, he said. And so I'm optimistic I'll have a response soon from the federal government on that.
I'm about 6 months ago for now, that's a long time, eh?
Yes, it has been.
I just hope the investors, they mean, get itchy and strain the mind, because that's really, really long. You know?
Well, they have been itchy, but I can tell you that I've been speaking with them. I've been encouraging them to stay the course. I think that they are very, very keen to do something in Nevis despite the negativity. They like the island. I think they've come across a lot of positive people, as I like to say. A lot of the negative people are talking the loudest and the hardest, but that does not make them a majority. And so these investors have had various people here spending a long time on the island, weeks at times, and they're engaging with people. And I think that those people have given them a very good feel that Nevis is really welcoming to investors, and this small group of negative people, this small group of people who are shouting at the top of their lungs, that's what they are. They're a small group. They're shouting the loudest, but they do not constitute a majority at all. And I think that is and has been encouraging to these particular investors. So I am still very optimistic about this. I believe this project is going to happen. And as one caller said earlier, when it happens, a lot of those who are now shouting are going to be right in the line to benefit from it.
That's true. Well, Mark, I wish you the best. I hope you get it started out, and soon.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
All right, cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have about 7 minutes, so we can take a few calls, and I'm encouraging you to call in if you have something to say. 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. While we wait for the phone to ring, possibly, let me remind friends and family, Nevisians, Kittitians, if they're interested as well, in the New York area, in the tri-state area, that the CCM-led Nevis Island Administration will be in the city for a town hall meeting on June 13th, starting at 6 p.m. June 13th, that's this Saturday, starting at 6 p.m. We will be at 1909 Vice Avenue, between Boston Road and Tremont Avenue in the Bronx, New York, 10460. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, caller. You're on the mark. Hello?
Hi, good evening. Hello, good evening. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Could I make some comments?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Absolutely. You're on the air.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Premier, I am a Nevisian. I'm living in Anguilla. I come home at least 3 times a year.
Okay.
And I'm proud to be a Nevisian. Why? Because I've seen a lot of progress in Nevis. I don't know what my country ladies and gentlemen have not seen, but I have seen a lot of progress in Nevis. Continue to work for the people of Nevis, and may God continue to bless and keep you.
Thank you so very much. I certainly appreciate it. Can I ask you, how long have you been in Anguilla?
I've been in Anguilla for 36 years.
Oh, wow. Wow. When you come home, you say at least 3 times a year?
At least 3 times a year.
Well, you need to come now because the mango season is in full swing.
Oh, I didn't get a couple. It's okay. I'll come in time.
All right.
Okay, take care.
Okay, God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
And we know, of course, a lot of Navisians have settled in Anguilla. We have always been very, very close, Anguilla and Nevis. It's a place that I myself love, and it's a beautiful island, and I hope, Caller, that you're well and that everybody in Anguilla is doing well. We have 5 minutes left based on my watch here, so we can take a few more calls. Again, the numbers are 869-469-1616 and 1700. So in New York, we're certainly looking forward to seeing as many people as possible. I'm told that we can accommodate quite a few people, and I want you to come with your questions, your comments, your concerns, and also come with your solutions. I really am listening carefully to our people, because I know that the government doesn't have all the solutions. We are trying our best, but when you have many minds applied to a situation, you certainly get the benefit of all those various thoughts. So let's take this call. Good evening, caller. You're on the air. Hello.
Hello, good night, Mr. Matt.
Good evening to you.
How are you? How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
I'm okay. Happy Wednesday night to you.
And the same to you, my dear.
Yes, what I'm calling about. The hot bath up there?
Yeah.
Yeah, you all need to fix it up. You hear? Otherwise, you are going to sell the whole of Nevis for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had a friend went over there a few weeks ago, and she said she saw a gentleman fall, a very young person, and you know that was very bad. And
she saw the gentleman do what?
Fall in it, and when you complain about it, it says several people just get fall in it. So I think you all need to drain the water and put in rough tiles in it, and put up the sign too. The sign they used to put in, say 15 years. I mean, if you suffer with asthma, you're not supposed to be in it, and other things. Baby and all now going in it, and it never used to be like that. I noticed a big sign what was up there for train up there. No more I had to come up there very often. So please fix up the hot bath before you all got to pay. Sell the whole of St. Kitts and Nevis to pay. You know, the American now make a joke, you know. They like a lot of money. They like to so.
Yes.
So go down there and find out what's going on, because when you complain there by the house up there, they say several people making a complaint about it, and you have a good night.
Okay. All right, my dear. Well, thank you very much for that.
Nevis is my grandmother country, and my father country. So, you know, I love Nevis.
So your grandmother and your father are from Nevis?
Yeah, my grandmother by my mother's side, and my grandfather.
Okay.
You know, by my father's side. And look here, I didn't even know Sam Daniel and the Abbey was family.
Okay.
Yeah, till the other day, my young sister told me from Totola with family.
Okay.
So, but she didn't go back up to claim her lands. Otherwise, I might have come over Nevis to live, because right now I rather told me to live Nevis right now and to live St. Kitts. Thank you.
Okay. God bless you. God bless you. And thank you for the observations about the hot stream. We have spent significant sums there in the last few years to try to fix it up and try to create greater amenities and a nice environment for people. But I hear your caller, and certainly I know that the management there listens to this show. I'm certainly going to raise it with them as well to make sure that we continue to do the right things so that people can come and really enjoy, locals and those who are visiting as well. The banner struck up, ladies and gentlemen. It means that we are at the hour of 10 p.m. and that is our show. I truly want to thank all who called, all who sent messages, all who are on the live. I am really, really honored that you give me the opportunity to be in your homes, to be in your vehicles, to be online with you every Wednesday from 8 to 10. I do not take it for granted. I thank you for giving me that opportunity. And I just want to say a pleasant night to all of you. I'm praying and hoping you have a good night's rest and that you wake tomorrow refreshed. Remember that this show is rebroadcast on One Radio at 1 p.m. tomorrow. And also remember, please, that on Saturday at 6 p.m., the CCM-led Nevis administration will be in the Bronx. and we are hopeful that you will come out in your numbers and share your ideas and thoughts and bring your questions and meet with us. Commix and commingle. At the end of the day, we are all nationals of St. Kitts and Nevis. We all Nevision, and we all want the best for Nevis. Let us continue to speak it. Let us continue to live it. Let us continue to show it in everything that we do, that we are genuinely interested in what is best for Nevis. Thank you. Good night, and God bless you.
And opinions expressed on the preceding program were solely those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Nevis Broadcasting Company Limited or its advertisers.